So I got an old pair of saw pants that are pretty much worn out. There's not really a lot of, well, not a lot left to them anyways. And I figured anyways, this might be a good opportunity to show people why exactly it's important to wear saw pants. A lot of people don't wear them. I've made the mistake of not wearing them before, and I've been lucky. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that haven't been so lucky. And there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand how they work or what they do. So I'm going to show you that and have a little bit of fun with it. Now, I noticed that these pants here have 2 legs. Go figure. And since they got 2 legs, I figured that means that we can test out 2 different chainsaws. So I've got here the smallest chainsaw that I own, which is a Stihl 201T. That's an arborist saw. So if you're up in the trees and stuff, that's a very, very common saw to be used. And then I've got the largest chainsaw that I own. This is a walkerized Husqvarna 394 with an expansion pipe on it. So this is a racing saw. You'd probably never use this in your day-to-days, you know, but I compete in logger sports, and when you are competing in logger sports, that's basically what you'd run in the 100cc hotsaw race. And it'd be interesting to see what that does to these pants. So these pants here, these are they're got a WCB rating of 4,000 feet per second chain speed. So these are kind of beefy pants. They're very thick, they're very heavy, so they should do fairly well. How I'm going to test these pants out is I got some pork hocks. So this is bone in, skin on, actual meat. So we're doing chainsaw versus the pork with the pants, and then without the pants to show how much damage it can do and what type of damage it can do if you're not wearing the chainsaw pants. So I'm going to get this set up. I'll get the pork inside the pants and we'll test that out. All right. Okay, so I've got all the meat in here now and I'm pretty much ready to go. Put that away. Throw on some earmuffs. And we're going to start with the small saw. This is the Stihl 201T. And I did not warm this up, so let's see how this goes. Okay, that's all warmed up. Let's see what she does. This is ready to go, I guess. Okay, here we go. Let's try it one more time too, just because it's already here. Well, that's not quite what I was expecting would have happened. Interesting. I kind of thought that it would have stopped it a little bit sooner, but it looks like it just went right through the damn pants and didn't even slow it down. So I'm going to pull this out because looking at it, it seems like it didn't actually get all the way through and cut the meat, at least not on the first cut. And the second cut, it kind of did. Look at that. So the first cut was right here, and there's a tiny, I'm going to come right in front of the camera here. Look at, there's a tiny little scratch right there. And that's all that actually got through there. The second cut, when I kind of forced it, it came right through on the side here. I sort of missed the meat, so I'm not sure how that went. So what we're going to do now, I'll set up the other pant leg. I'll try with the bigger saw, see how that goes. It's not quite what I was expecting to happen there, so we'll see anyways what happens. And then I'll do them just without the pants on at all and see what happens there. Okay, hang on. Okay, so I've got the ham hock. I used the same one because there's just that one little scratch on it. Set up here in the other pant leg, and we're going to try it against the Husqvarna, the big 394. So I already warmed this thing up. Let's see how she does. Well, you felt that thing hit hard. Holy smokes. Might as well just keep that rolling. Pull this one out and see what it looks like. So I'm a little bit surprised, actually, at how that reacted, because I kind of thought, based on what I've always seen, is that the fibers all pull out, the saw gets all bunched up, and it gets, plugged up or whatever, and it doesn't run anymore. And that is not what happened here. Got me a little bit curious. But look at that. Just one little cut right there. It got through the skin, but not much more. Never hit the bone, never got through most of the meat. It's just kind of, look at that, just a little cut. That's actually very impressive. Yeah, that's not what I thought would happen, though. I got to be honest with you. It did the job like it's supposed to. It just didn't kind of pull apart like I thought. So look at all the fibers in here too. Get out of there. Inside, it's got all these kind of stringy bits here, and then it's got all this sort of fluff. And it got through everything. It came right through into the pants, obviously. It didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. Cool. So now I guess we'll set it up. Throw that away. I got to figure out some way to mount this thing so it doesn't move, and then we're just going to hit the chainsaw straight on the meat so you can see what actually would happen to it. So there's bone in here. It's got skin on, bone in. It's got lots of meat in it. So that was the closest thing I could think of to an actual human leg. It's a pig's leg. So I'll figure out how to get this thing mounted, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I just used some big wood screws and screwed this right down to the table so it's secure. And I'm going to take a little saw to it and see how that goes. Well, that didn't take too long. You can see it just basically took your leg right in half. Let's back it out. So there is what your leg would look like. Oh, I lost a screw. That's going to be tricky. Anyway, so that's your leg right there. Two pieces, you'll note, with no saw pants on. And that's your leg if you wear them. That's pretty much a no-brainer, right? So I might as well rig up one more and we'll hit it with the big boy and see what happens. All right, let's see how this goes. Well, that didn't take very long. I guess in the world of ham versus chainsaw, ham loses. So there you have it. I guess yeah, I was a bit surprised to see how it didn't actually stop the chain, which is what I've seen on every other pair of saw pants that I've ever seen cut up. The fibers, there's a bunch of fibers inside typically that all get caught up in the saw and they stop the chain from spinning. And in this case, with these pants, you can see there's not that same type of fiber in here. And it didn't actually stop the chain from spinning, but it still managed to stop it from really doing any serious damage when you're wearing the saw pants. And so they did their job. They did their job fairly well. I mean, there was just this one little scratch on it with the big saw, and not even a little tiny, or just a tiny little mark with the little saw there. So yeah, I was very impressed with how well the pants did. Um, but that goes to show you, you know, like it makes a big difference if you're wearing them, and you don't have to go out and get these big 4,000 feet per second. You could just go buy, you know, a set of chaps or whatever, just like this, they're like $100 a pair or something like that, and they can save your life. They can at least save you from having to go to the hospital, because you never really know. You know, you might have a little slip, little trip, something like that. Or even, you know, maybe the saw just gets out of your hands or something like that, and it just comes down. You don't ever really know. And it can happen so quick, you know, things can go south on you in a hurry. Um, so yeah, I guess overall, super impressed with how the pants did, but a little bit surprised at how they did it. Yeah, anyway, I guess I gotta go fire up the barbecue now. We're having pork. Okay, so as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, share it with all your friends. We'll see you down the road.